Part 2 of the Office Chapter 1 Introduction to Microsoft Office 2013 Features. And we are on Project A, and we're on page 84, Activity 1.07, creating a folder and naming and saving a file. At the top of the screen, in your title bar, notice that Document 1 displays, and it may or may not have the file extension on it. Mine does. I've got my computer set to show file extensions. Yours may not. And what we want to do is we want to go to our File tab over here, and it takes us to what is called the Backstage view, and this should look pretty much like the bottom of page 84. Now I'm moving to the top of page 85. On the left, click Save As, and notice that the default location is your SkyDrive. Well, it's not SkyDrive anymore, it's OneDrive. Let's do a Save As. And so we've got our OneDrive. Yeah, you'll probably only have one of these. I have two. And if we want to store it someplace else, basically what you want to do here is you just want to go to Browse. And now we're turning over to page 86. And from here, just go to the location where you want to save it. If you do want to save it on OneDrive, you can click on that. That's a little bit slow sometimes, so I'm just going to go to Desktop and say I want to put it on the desktop. And then if you want to create a new folder, there's an option up here for new folder. It may look a little different in Windows 10, but it should be up here on this bar somewhere. And you just click on that, and it says, now notice that new folder is selected. It's all highlighted in blue, so whatever we type now, we'll type over that. So we're going to call it Office Features Chapter 1 and press Enter. And now we've got a folder, and we can either double click on it here, or we can leave it selected and then click on Open if we just want to do one click. And now there's a file name list here, and the default you get is document 1, and we're going to change that, and we're going to name all of our documents in this class this way. Last name underscore, let's try that again. Last name underscore first name underscore 1a underscore note underscore form. Okay, and so that's a new name. It'll automatically put this file extension on the end for us. You don't need to worry about doing that. That's always goes on the end of Word documents. And then we can click on Save. And it should take us back to our document, and they want us to put the insertion point, I call it the cursor, after the word grill, and type a comma. And in the upper left corner of our screen this is called the quick access toolbar, and there's usually not much on it. I've got an extra button here. Usually there's just the first these first four. This one that looks like an obsolete floppy disk here is the default for save. If you click on that, it will write it back out with the changes to the location where we just saved it to. So we just updated our file. Okay, now we're on activity 1.08 on page 87, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a footer and a few other things in. Let's go to the Insert tab, and we've got header and footer, and we're going to click on footer. Notice I clicked up on the icon, not on the arrow. And actually, I guess it doesn't matter in this case whether you click on the arrow or not. And we want to click on Edit Footer here, and it takes us down to the footer, draws a little line. And if you notice up here, this stuff kind of gets grayed out. That's not as bright as it used to be. So when you're working on the header and the footer, you'll see the header and footer tools with a single design tab and a bunch of things that you can do with headers and footers. When you get all done, you can close on this, or you can just click up on the regular document outside of the header and the footer. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to insert some document info. Click on that. And what we're always going to put here is we're going to go to file name, and it'll put the name of our file down there. And that way, if you do get a printout of it, which you're probably not going to do in this class, you can identify your printout as being yours. And then we've got a close header and footer button up here, so we can close it after putting in the footer. And now it wants us to go to the File tab, which takes us to Backstage View. And on the right at the bottom of the Properties list, click Show All Properties. So that would be down here. And there's not actually that much more. I'm not sure why they even bother. But it tells you a little bit about, you know, how big your document is, how many pages, how long you've been working on it, blah, blah, blah. And they have you put keywords in here, and I'm not going to bother with that. You can do a search using Windows, and it will search for keywords, and I don't think there's any real need to put specific keyword tags in like they're having us do now. So we are going to skip the remainder of page 88, and we're going to go to page 89. We'll hit the back arrow here to go back into our document. And actually, we need to stay on the File tab. Sorry about that. And go to Print. And what we should get is we should get a preview on the right side over here in a second. And on the left side, we've got some options for how we want to print our document. And we will not be doing hard copies for any of this stuff, so there will not be a need to print. Notice you can select the correct printer here if you've got multiple printers attached to your computer. And since we're not going to print, we're not going to worry about this stuff for right now. So you would normally click the print button here once you had your printer selected and made other settings. And we're not going to print, so we're going to go to step number 3. And on the left side here is an export option, which is relatively new. I think this began in 2013. And we can change, we can create a PDF document. So, so I want to click on Create PDF. And turn the page now to page 90, and it says on the left in the navigation pane, if necessary, go to your Office features. Well, my Office features here is in, it's on my desktop. And so let's open this up. And now when we save it, it's going to be the same name, but it's going to be in a different format, so it's going to be stored with a different file extension. So instead of clicking on Save, what they put on the button this time is Publish. So go ahead and click on Publish. And PDF files are nice because everybody on every computer has got the ability to read PDF files. They may not have the ability to read Word documents. So that's primarily what you'd want to use a PDF file for. And let me see. We are done. I am now on number 7. We've gone out of Backstage View. I'm sorry, we're not out of Backstage View yet. It's doing a preview for us, and in my web browser here. And now if I go back over to Word, and now what I want to do is click on the Close button up here. And it says, do you want to save your changes? And I'm going to click on Save, and yes. And that is the end of Project 1A, so that's also the end of this video.